What's up, dive addicts? Welcome to another episode of Dive Addiction. All right, so I didn't get to make you guys a video last weekend because I had the Rona.
You what?
This weekend, I tried to go out and make you guys a video, but things went sideways. I was only going diving so that I could make you guys a video. I mean, okay, I wasn't really just trying to go so I could make you guys a video. Hi, my name's Shane. I have an addiction to diving.
Hi, I'm Pharaoh, and I'm an addict. Addiction has cost me everything. It destroyed the lives of my loved ones. It wrecked my kingdom. It almost... I had to hit rock bottom before I could recognize my addiction and begin the road to recovery.
So anyway, I go diving, and so we got our dive plan set up. We're gonna drop, do a bubble check, go to the platform, make sure everybody can clear their ears because we got a few new divers. Well, we drop down, do the bubble check, go to the platform so that the newer divers can make sure that they're clearing their ears fine. And one guy's having a problem with his weighting. No big deal. When I get to that 20-foot platform, I realize that I've got like a little bit of a, it's like a squeeze inside of my sinuses in my head, like right in here. And never had anything like this before. Don't think anything about it.
Use your head.
But I don't want to use my head!
The one guy pops up because he's having weighting issues. Ryan goes up with him, and I start coming up slow. And when I start coming up, I feel it. Like it's just there's pressure behind my sinuses. I'm like, well, shit. I'll probably be okay, right? No big deal. We get to the surface, and I tell Ryan, I'm like, hey man, I think I'm getting a reverse block in my ears. He was like, you want to call this dive? I'm like, nah, I'll be all right. He's like, well, you can sit this one out and just go on the next one. If I'm going to go on one and two dives, it's going to be the shallow one, not the deep one while I think I'm having a reverse block. So I'm like, nah, it'll be all right. I'll go over and grab some weights from Sky, and then I will come back over and give you guys weights. Well, I sent Sky to get weights, and I'm like, well, there's no weights in the truck. No, I don't think there's any more weights up there. She's going to have to go get weights. So I'm like, all right, you know what? I'm just going to call this dive. I'll bring the weights over to them when the weights come back if dude's still having problems. So I go over to the 20-foot platform. They're gone. I'm like, oh, shit. Now they're going to be looking for me at some point in time because they would figure that I would just catch back up because I know the dive plan. So I'm like, you know what? I'll just go tell them that I'm going to call the dive. So I go over to the airplane, and I'm in about 15 feet of water, and they're down around 35, 40 feet of water. They're right about the airplane's wing. So I drop down, and when I get down there, I go to clear my ears because my ears are. You got to clear your ears when you're dropping down. So for anybody that doesn't know what clearing your ears is, if you're a non-diver, it's basically you pinch your nose and you blow, and you'll feel the pressure inside of your ear push out. Basically it equalizes the pressure in your inner and outer ear because the outer ear is being pushed in by the water pressure, and when you blow into your ear, the air pressure rises and it equalizes it so that your ear isn't being squeezed in by the water. For anybody that dives, you know that. So when I do that, not only do my ears clear, but all of a sudden my sinus is clear and it doesn't hurt anymore. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm good now, right? No problem. Well, we go from the airplane, we're going to go over to the buses. Well, we go to from the airplane to the helicopter. I do like a drop straight down into the top of the helicopter where the rotors used to go in through the body. And it was about that point when I did the drop through the helicopter where I realized that it's not better. If anything, I'm in trouble. Because when I went up, I felt pressure build. When I started to come back down through the chute where the rotors go through the helicopter, that's when I realized that something's not right. Because I could feel the pressure when I was coming down. It went away, and then it started that squeeze again. And I'm like, okay, yeah, my sinuses are having issues. Usually, you don't feel anything up in here while you're diving. So we went to the bus, and I love going through the old bus. You look up, and it's like all that little Swiss cheese from all the holes in the roof. So before the bus is finally moved, I wanted to, every chance I get, I'm going to go through it. So I went through the bus, and as soon as I came out the backside of the bus, I almost blacked out. Like I could feel like, I don't know if anybody's ever passed out, you'll feel like uh, everything's just closing in on you visually. Like you'll start seeing that black coming in, and I knew it was from my sinuses. So instantly, I look over at Ryan. I'm like, "Hey, I got a problem, head. I gotta go." And he's like, "Okay." So I reach back I start to go up, and when I hit about, I think it was 14 feet a minute is what my computer said was my max ascent rate. I was like, "Yo, nope, can't do that. That's not good." So I reach back, I grab my lift bag, I put it on a reel, blow my lift bag, launch it to the surface. Now I'm sitting underneath of it on a reel, and I do the slowest ascent of my life. I go from 30 feet of water, just barely cranking it up until I get over. Well, while I'm doing it, I'm also swimming towards the dock. So I'm going up, cranking on the reel. I'm going up about a foot, a minute to 2 minutes. I'd go up and stop, try and let that pressure out of my sinuses as much as I could, because if you try and just go straight up, it was the most excruciating pain. So I'm sitting there just hanging on that lift bag. I'm going real slow, and I get over by the tires, and I realize the guy that has a problem with the weights, he's over by me. No big deal. He's doing his safety stop. I'm coming up on safety stop depth. Uh, he he's having problems staying down, so he's holding on to the line. Well, I tell him to hold on to the line, and he holds on to the line, so he's good. And we go through about a 5 minute safety stop. Um, I'm at I'm working my way up through that whole safety stop because of how slow I'm coming up. So safety stops usually between 20 and 10 feet. A lot of people do it at 15, but as long as you're between 20 and 10. So I get to about 7 feet, 8 feet, something like that. I do my last little crank up, and I look down, and dude that's got the weighting problem is beneath me, and he lets go of that chain, and he crashed into me. And when he crashed into me, I couldn't get him off of me in time before we broke the surface. When we hit the surface, it was just excruciating pain in my sinuses. I was walking around all day like this, like everybody's like, "Where the fuck do you see a shark at?" And it's like, "No, sinus pain." But moral of the story is, if you start feeling like you've got any problem at all, if you don't want to be in pain for the rest of the day, just stop. I mean, I took Sudafed after that happened, but the pain didn't go away until 10 o'clock that night, and that was at 11 o'clock, about around 11, 12 o'clock when we got in the water. So do yourself a favor. If you think you've got sinus problems, either don't dive or don't dive. Yes, you can take Sudafed, but you risk. Think about it like this. If you would have took Sudafed and then the Sudafed would have worn off, and say I would have done that and it would have been my second dive when I was down deep, how long do you think it's going to take me to get from 130 feet to the surface if I'm only going up at about 2 feet a minute? And that was quick for how fast I was going up. So 130 feet, 2 feet a minute, it wore off. You start coming up, you feel that you don't even there's no guarantee you even know what's going on when it happens to know that you need to slow down and not come up fast. So be careful, dive safe, dive every chance you get of getting in the water. Have fun. The sport's, it's a great sport. It's fun to do. It's fun to get involved with the community and everything. But at the same time, your safety is the most important thing. There's only one rule to diving. Well, there's the most important rule to diving is don't die. So just follow that rule and, but I appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that subscribed. I appreciate you guys for sticking with me through this, even though I haven't made a video in a week or two. I'm going to try and keep videos coming out every week if I can. Next weekend is the pumpkin carving contest at Circleville. The 9th is when the pumpkin carving contest is on Saturday at 5 p.m. in Circleville. I should be there. I'll be there. I'm going to try and get my hand at some pumpkin carving underwater. I don't know how good I'm going to do at that, but I think I'm going to try and do it and not use any platform or anything. Just try and do it in neutral buoyancy. And that should count for points for something, right? But I will go and I'll try and get a video of that. I don't know how good the visibility is going to be there next weekend with a big event and all that. So, but again, I appreciate everybody that's liked my videos, subscribed to my channel. If you got a question, please feel free to leave a comment. I'm trying to answer every comment I get, and right now it's pretty easy because I'm not getting too many. So definitely like my video, subscribe to my channel, leave a comment. I'll see you guys in the water next time. Have a good one.